What a mow, what a windy day. In fact, welcome to the South African lawn, Owens. Another video here on the South African lawn, okay? What a beast that mower is. And I especially went and got my catcher because it's been about 4 or 5 months since I've last mowed with a catcher, and everyone's like, no, Merrick, you should mow with a catcher because you're gonna introduce thatch to your lawn. Those clippings will make thatch. They don't. Please stop whining about the bloody catcher. Okay? People like my dad, if you're watching this, don't mow with a bloody box, okay? Because those clippings actually break down and they provide nutrients. You can save about 1/3 of your fertilizer. He doesn't fertilize at all. So especially if you're not fertilizing, don't take and put your catcher on the mower. Don't take the clippings from the lawn. They're good. It's like in the forest. Do you see the trees throw leaves down and then someone comes with a rake and take the leaves? No. They compost there and they provide nutrients back into the soil. So don't remove your clippings unless you're having a party or something and you're scared that the clippings is going to bother you. Okay? Then take the clippings. Or if they bother you in general, take them off, but just know that you'll have to fertilize about 1/3 more than the rest of the oaks. Welcome to another video, and before we get started on today's video, one of the subscribers, they've sent this to me. Let's open this up and see what it is. Alright, so one of the subscribers sent this out to me. I almost opened it without filming. How the hell am I going to open this? Okay, so he saw my video. I know what it is. You guys don't know what it is. And he was like, no, Jette, this okay, can't most like suckle like that. So he sent me this. Sorry, I'm going to try and be as quick as possible. I should probably open this a little bit better because I can keep this cling wrap for my broekies that I take to work. My sandwiches, you know, we'll keep them nice and fresh. Would you look at that? The attention to detail with this wrapping is just unreal, guys. I think I'm gonna, next time I sharpen my mower, I'm gonna send it to him. This guy looks like he's nobody. Let me tell you, it is Gregory. Thank you so much for sending this out to me. What a legend. Guys, I can do it. An entire house's electrical wires with all this insulation tape. And now this oakie right here is a height of cut bar, guys, made from aluminum, whatever you want to call it. Hey, I can see the camera through here. Oh, it's even threaded. It's even threaded in there. Look there. Lock that, Owens. Lock that. I'm gonna loosen this a little bit. And then, let's say for instance, you've set this oakie to 15 mil or 20 mil or hopefully 30 mil. You'll now be able to adjust your height of cut. Just like that. Wow, this is a proper bar. This is thick aluminium steel. And then I would just turn the height adjuster until it sits tight and flush against the nut, the rear roller, as well as the front roller up here. And we've got our height of cut set. That is perfect. Bang on. Thanks a million for sending that out to me. That's a real win. That's a proper height of cut bar, guys. Mine is already starting to rust. Right, so on the topic of height of cut, I'm lowering my height of cut at this stage. So I'm going to be losing some green. In other words, it's going to yellow a little bit instead of dark green. And the reason for that is I'm not really too worried about the height of cut because I am going to renovate soon. There's that sand that I've used on the green, and I'm also going to use that in my renovation on this lawn. Okay, So talking about renovations, I want to introduce to you these Okies right here. We're going to talk about whether they are brilliant, whether they're useless, who this is for, and just my general opinion about this Lawn Aerator spiking shoes. Lekker. Woo! Owens, Lawn Aerator spiking shoes, in theory, on paper, probably the best thing, really, and I'm not even kidding, probably the best thing to have ever been designed. I mean, does it even make, is there anything that makes more sense than aerating your lawn, which is probably one of the fundamentals to keeping good grass, while you're just walking around? Now, I have run quite some long distance marathons. In fact, I've run 2 Comrades marathons, and they have made me realize that your legs, not your arms, your legs are capable of quite a lot more punishment than you would think. However, there's a couple of pros and cons, and let's quickly talk about them and take them into consideration here. Okay, so while I've been bragging now that I can run long distances, very long distances, I've now come to realize that this movement, which you're doing here with your Lawn Aerator shoes, are quite different from your standard running action, walking action. You would think that you can use this while mowing the lawn, and that's where you would be making the mistake. So, okay, I've got them on. So while you think that you can just walk normally, this is not one of those. This is more like, this is your, and you need quite good balance. You know, it's one of those type of, it's not that, you can't really push your weight forward and do this. This is not great. So that brings me to where the theory of how genius these spike shoes are and the reality comes in a little bit of conflict with each other, because you're not doing your normal walking movement, therefore you're not as durable, if that's the correct word, while doing this. I mean, I'm doing this for like 5 minutes and I am unfit at this stage, but I mean, I'm still the young man. I'm doing this for 5 minutes and then my legs are burning, like physically burning. The lactic acids are building because this movement is so unnatural. You've got to do this. Nobody runs the Comrades like this. I mean, you got, imagine 91 kilometers of this. Oh, a bee. Shame. I don't want to step on him now. I think I may have. Okay, so in all fairness, let's talk about the pros of this thing. It is probably the most, not genius invention, I mean, but the most logic way to aerate your lawn rather than poking a fork. The thing that is a con is that these tines are very tiny. Tines? Catch what I'm saying? Okay, so the only downside to that is that it doesn't create a very big hole. Now, when you've got dense turf like this, especially with kikuyu and those type of things, it's not really going to be that effective when you're doing an aeration for your renovation period. Because now adding sand to this, I don't think there's a lot of compost or topsoil that will fall into a hole that this thing has made. Let me show you. So I'm going to aerate this part. And I'm going to wiggle it round as much, make as big of a hole as possible. Okay. Oh, nearly fell. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, excusez-moi. This happens fairly often because the tine's stuck in the ground, sticks to the ground, and then you can't move. This is the area where I've made holes, and I'm pretty sure that water will be able to make its way down there. I mean, if you look from up here, you can't even see the holes. There you can see some. Water will make its way down there. So for filtration, it's probably okay. But for top dressing, I don't think you're gonna have a lot of like effective success with this. I don't think a lot of soil, maybe that fine sand, but not even really, it's gonna make its way down into those holes. Where if you use a garden fork or something with a bigger, that makes a bit of a bigger hole, stuff will just more easily fall into those holes. However, on an area like this, like my golf green, it's actually, and that's the reason why I bought it, it's gonna do wonders, because I don't want a very big hole that disrupts the playability and the levelness of this thing for a month at a time. So actually just walking, and I've done this twice already to this green, just lightly, and making a small leash hole in the grass really is quite beautiful. And let me show you what I'm talking about. So really not making a lot of damage. Sorry, I have to hop, otherwise I will fall to this green of mine right here. And probably the next time I come over this area with my mower, it'll probably roll flat 100%. So this will help with infiltration. And that's actually the reason, like I say, why I bought these spike shoes, because I think on this golf green they'll do wonders. Okay, so the last two things I want to talk about is these beautiful shoes, and the positive is that the tines or the spikes are very close to each other. They're only about 50 mils apart from each other, 5 centimeters, which is nice. So on each shoe you get about, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, probably more than 10. There's 5, yeah, probably like 12 spikes. Oh, I can't go down on each shoe. So that gives you quite a lot of holes in a small area, which is great, which you'd expect because the holes are not very big. The last thing I want to talk about is price. I bought these for 200 bucks at Leroy Merlin, and as far as I know, they're still the same price. I've had them probably for 2-3 months now. But in general, they're very, very expensive, and I don't understand why, because they're normally like 500, 600, 700. I've seen some for 800 rand for a piece of, and they all look the same, piece of plastic. I don't know if it's 3D printed or molded, probably molded. I mean, with a strap and a few bolts and sharpened nuts. It just seems like a crazy amount of money for not a lot of raw material. In any case, so yeah, let's go try it out for a second. So as I'm walking to the area that I want to decompact or aerate, in conclusion, basically I would say that this probably for drainage would be fairly effective, but for top dressing, not really, not so much. And then the last thing, which is probably the biggest bummer besides the price, besides the effectiveness of the tines and all those type of things, is just the sheer embarrassment. If someone were to look, if my neighbor were to look over the wall now, I would have to put my head in a bucket. I would die of shame, and that is the royal shame. You would probably have to do this like 10 or 11 at night when you're 100% sure your neighbor's main bedroom light is off already, because this is embarrassing, guys. I mean, every 10th step you're falling over. I mean, the movements you make like this to effectively do this is just super embarrassing. There it falls out again. You're going to lose all your lawn respect. I mean, all these stripes, all these beautifully low-mown turf and things are going to be irrelevant because you used something like this. So for the serious lawners, not your thing, Owens. Probably not your thing. Very embarrassing. You'll have to keep an eye on the neighbors. You look like one of those flippin' overweight ladies at the gym on those steppers. You know, those things that goes down, it looks like they sinking in sink sand. It's more or less the same thing. It's just, it's even flippin' worse. Because yeah, you're not trying to lose weight. You're trying water to go stick into your soil. It's bad, guys. Hey! Oh, Shit. Okay. Okay, let's call it a day. I'm just scared that. No, thankfully it's no one. Okay, like I was saying, in conclusion, it is difficult to use. It's something to get used to, especially when your soil is quite firm. It's difficult to get your feet out. But yeah, in conclusion, on paper, it's magic. But in reality, it's like you're not allowed to put a two-stroke engine on a lawnmower or a motorcycle, but you can drive with a Land Cruiser V8 from here to Cape Town, getting 5 kilometers per liter of fuel. You know, it doesn't really add up. You're burning like 100 mils of fuel on a lawnmower, mowing your lawn once a week, but then this guy can use, you know, 200 liters of fuel to get to Cape Town. I mean, what I'm trying to say here is, it's beautiful on paper, those shoes, but in reality, I don't think you're going to be very effective. So beautiful on paper, but I don't think it's going to be very effective. However, I think on this golf green of mine, yeah, you can't really use a spike roller. It'll just tear up the turf because it's rolling. So you've either got to use a garden fork very lightly to make holes, and going straight down, or these shoes will work beautifully. It depends on the scenario. I hope you enjoyed the comparison. Let me know what you think about these shoes. If you've liked the video, remember to hit the like button, smash the like button. Don't want to sound American. Hit the like button. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about these lawn shoes. They're quite difficult to use. You've got to like learn how to use them. Otherwise, you might break a hip or dislocate something. Cheers, Owens.